can we start off by talking a little bit about how you got the idea for this movie? It seems like a really unusual film to bring to a large market in the United States. So can you start with where you got started?
Sure. Well, Adrian and I worked on Toy Story 3 together, which came out back in 2010. And after we finished that, we started to think about what we were going to do next. And I had long been interested in Dia de Muertos. It seemed to me that it could potentially be an interesting backdrop for a story at Pixar. And so I started spending a lot of time learning more about the celebration and the traditions. And what emerged for me was the heart of Dia de Muertos, which is all about family and the importance of family and remembering our loved ones and the obligation that we have to pass their stories down to the next generation. And once I learned about all of that, I really saw the potential for making an entertaining, colorful musical story set against the beautiful culture of Mexico, but also create a story that could have a lot of emotion and a lot of heart, which is something that we always look for in our stories.
So I imagined that perhaps, since you directed Toy Story 3, that maybe the scene that you put in there with Buzz Lightyear when he goes into Spanish mode, I always wondered if that maybe got you down the road into like exploring a film about Spanish culture. Any influence there? Or is that just a coincidence?
Maybe on some small level. What influenced me more, I think, was at the very end of Toy Story 3, we did this great Spanish language version of You've Got a Friend in Me, sung by the Gypsy Kings. And that was the first time that I had ever done anything kind of in the musical realm, where we were having to compose and record a song and then do choreography for dancing. And I really got bitten by a bug doing that. And so that was part of the reason we decided to make a film that really embraced music to the degree that we did. It was a new challenge for us, and it was something we hadn't done. And what better to do than tell a story that's set against the rich, beautiful musical landscape of Mexican culture.
This film, I think, is their most emotionally complex and also their most visually stunning. They get better and better at what they do, and they were already genius from moment one with their stories. So people can expect what they typically would expect from a Pixar film, but there's some extra special sauce on this one.
I was at the press conference yesterday, and there was some talk about how important this film is for the Latin community here, especially in the United States, and for children. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be very important, this film, for these Latino kids, you know, that are growing up in a moment where their culture has been pointed at, you know, as something low, as something that it doesn't have the best intentions, you know, and I think kids need to find ways of empowering themselves to not believe in this lie.